like using the educational background. I got my master's in computer science. I worked as a software engineer in the Bay for about 10 years, and I realized that there must be more to life than just working a job, right? And that's when I started to dabble into real estate investing, started networking around, and really doing more for the community. And that's when I realized that the Asian community is super segregated. It's so crazy because, especially in real estate, I would see like the Chinese stick together, Vietnamese stick together, Koreans stick together, but there is not that much of a cross collaboration culture going on. And I wanted to change that because I'm always been the type that's been very curious. I'm always asked people about their story, and then one day it just clicked in my head. I'm like, I feel like everyone's story is the same, except we don't talk to each other. And that's the problem. Like our upbringing, our values, our morals, our holidays are pretty much identical, right? And then that's when I started looking into the corporate world. I'm like, wait a minute, why is all my boss always white? Why is Silicon Valley super white? Why are all the decision makers like super white? Right? And that's when I started questioning things. And that's when I realized that things were not the way I thought the world would be. Right? And that's when it came to the realization that I want to speak up about it and I want to do more about it. So the premise of Asian Hustle Network came from the lack of representation that I saw, but also firsthand experience too. Like I would consistently get employee of the year, employee of the month at work and getting passed up for my promotion all the time. I'm like, what the Yeah. That's when I realized that, hey, like, people like to help and support each other that look like them and sound like them, right? It's just a psychological thing. So that questioning got me to take action. So I was talking to Maggie too. And for the longest time, like, I was like, hey, I want to do something for the Asian community. I just don't know what it is. Until this group called Subtle Asian Traits came out. And I'm like, wow, this totally took off, like, on fire. It was doing great. A lot of memes bringing together people across the world. But the thing was, like, coming from a kind of professional side, I realized that there's lacking the professionalism I was seeking, right? There's not a deep understanding of, like, each other's culture through a meme culture because basically making fun of each other, making fun of our culture, right? So I kind of set out sort of as an experiment and sort of an accident to create a Facebook group that's meant to share stories and be more professional. I didn't think it was going to take off at all, but like when the first couple of days, couple of weeks, it started caught fire. And people were just constantly pinging me, like, what is the mission of this group? What do you want to do? And I keep expressing my thoughts. And I kept saying, like, I want more Asians in media. I want more Asian representation. I want more Asian higher investment in corporate ladders, and that really resonated with a lot of people. And on top of that, it's like, I'm so inspired by CNN's Good Big Story that I was like, I want to incorporate this story element to this community. Because even at the time, I didn't know that stories would make such a huge impact. It was sort of like a gut feeling that I went with that just sort of resonated with a lot of people that I'm super excited about. And just having my co-founder Maggie as well. Like, I think at the very beginning, a couple months in, we're just like 70% male and 30% female. We're like, wait a minute, there's a problem here already. How do we increase female representation inside our own community before we help them outside in the world? So we actually created a lot of different conferences and programs, like Women Empowerment Event Conference, to really highlight women leadership that we really seriously need, because that is an issue with the Asian culture too.